Hello, friends. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from right here in the Impact Power Sports Studio. Impact Power Sports, great place to pick up a Yamaha a Yamaha golf cart. You can also shop their ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles, e-bikes, go-karts, scooters, lawnmowers, anything like that, you know? Those zero turns really make cutting the lawn fun. Probably get a good deal this time of year, considering we're getting ready to put all that stuff away for the year. Anyway, they're in Rockford, Michigan, ImpactPowerSportsMI.com. Yesterday was an outstanding day for the Great Food Giveaway. We got 3 more folks to hook us up. Thank you to Chris, Josh D, and Rebecca. Rebecca, that's the second donation that Rebecca has made. That would be known as Miss Twaddalot in the chat. You're very, very sweet. I think, didn't you say something about it was your dog's birthday and it's from Hank? I thought I saw that, but I might be wrong. Anyway, we now sit at $1,576.20 needed. We're not entirely sure of the total amount of cash that will be needed as we wait for the folks at the Standale Meyer to get the total. I know I keep saying that every day, but literally I am. This whole process moves because of audience members' efforts. And the multi-talented Mike Ball, he said, okay, we're going to buy this food at the Standale Meyer. We have fired the Jennison Meyer because there's too many mutants working there that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. So they were fired, and now we spend our money at the Standale Meyer. But Mike is kind of like, all right, hey, price this stuff out. I need this because this fundraiser is ongoing right now, and EZ likes to have a goal in mind for how much we are to spend. And he's still waiting for that info. And I don't want to indict them. All right? Now, at some point, I would. Like last year, I waited till the end of Great Food Giveaway before I crucified the morons at the Mutant Meyer in Jennison, Michigan. Absolute fucking shithole. All right? The worst. They almost ruined last year's Great Food Giveaway. We had to scramble, and thank God for the folks at the Standale Meyer for getting all of our needs logistically taken care of at a moment's notice because of some fucking asshole at the Jennison Meyer. I said to Mike, I go, why did they hire mutants? The place is full of mutants. It looks like Walmart. All right. Yesterday, complete transparency. Catastrophic end of the day for the EZ diet. The EZ last call diet. This is my last chance. If I don't turn this around, I'm not saying that I'm dead, but I'm looking at it this way. And I'm wrapping up the day, and I'm done eating. I've had nothing weird. I finished the day with some cut up raw vegetables. I mean, that's fantastic. Pooh Bear comes home about 8 o'clock at night, and she was at the local Mexican joint with her pals, and she brought home leftovers. I'm done eating. I am not hungry. You know where this is going. You know where this is going. She goes, what do you, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save this for tomorrow. I'll eat this tomorrow. And I got it out of the to-go thing and was going to put it in the little, like a paper plate with like some tinfoil over it. Put it in the fridge for later. Becca Shea says, how can you pass up Mexican? I didn't. I ate it right there. I said, I actually put it on the plate, and I go, oh, yeah? You know, I mean, I'm done eating for the day, so no big deal. All right, I'll eat it now. Rebecca says, just wait until Jeremy hears this. Yeah, you know, I mean, he's the one who has lost over 130 pounds in a year. He said, easy, get your shit together. He's right. He's right. So back on the horse today. By the way, after I finished that food, and it wasn't a ton. It was probably maybe 2/3 of a cup of Spanish rice. I had probably 2/3 of a cup of black beans and 1/2 of a enchilada. So it wasn't devastating. But then I said, oh, well, that was good. Now I might as well wash it down with an ice cream cone. Oh, no, what an asshole. In a moment's notice, it's completely, like the whole day is fucked at that point. Why do I do that? Stevie writes, dude, what the fuck? Alan writes, random question. Does Amanda qualify for heavy preggers now? Okay. For those who don't know, I will steal some of the thunder on the Patreon bonus podcast. Amanda announced that she hadn't been feeling well for a couple of weeks. Now, she also recently revealed that she has been very aggressively making love to a few suitors. Like intense lovemaking has been going on, and these are flat out booty calls. And so the first thing I thought was when she said she hasn't been feeling well for like 2 weeks, feeling like she's gonna vomit. I said to her, I go, hey, is there a chance you could be preggers? I mean, have you thought about this? She goes, I have thought about that. That's why Alan says, does Amanda qualify for heavy preggers now? I don't think so, because she indicated that she's been taking her birth control. So, I mean, that's a very difficult thing for a pregnancy to occur when a person is taking birth control. Those drugs are very powerful, as I understand it. She does say, though, that she found mold in her house. Mystery solved. Okay. What part of your body did you find the mold on? All right. I hope you're fine. Clean up the mold. The Great Food Giveaway, like I indicated to you, $1,576.20 now. And I believe we have 23 people, if I remember correctly, who have now helped us out. And I'm very, very happy with that. Our virtual hat passing continues. And as always, leading up to the Great Food Giveaway, I will, every single show that I do here, I am going to give you this update. So, and I can't stress enough, you do not have to give a lot of money. We've had people give $5 and $10. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All we need is the numbers. I have the numbers. You know, I'm not Joe Rogan, but I still have the numbers. A few thousand a day is going to easily take care of this. Thank you. So there you go. I just posted it on the chat. Help with the donation as we pass our virtual hat for the Great Food Giveaway number 6. Venmo at Eric Zaitunian. I'm sorry, at Eric-Zaitunian. Cash App, all one word, $, Eric Zaitunian. PayPal, search Eric Zane Show, LLC. and get after it. Together, we will raise the funds. We will buy the food. And then we will give it all away on Tuesday, December 23rd. Nick, the electrician, is here. He says, I got a surprise bonus yesterday. Fat donation incoming. Of course. You're as sweet as peaches despite your tough, hard candy shell exterior. Thank you very much for that. We are, of course, also giving away pet food with the Grand Rapids Pitbull Alliance on Tuesday, December 23rd. We're giving away giant bags of apples. Thank you to Nyblad Orchards. And then Team Pink. As you know, ladies have to spend a lot of money for, well, that time of the month. So we're doing our part. Megan came up with this. Everybody came up with this. I didn't come up with any of this. Again, I did none of this. I'm just talking about it. That's my only real thing that I do here is I talk about it on this show, and it seems to work. That's my role here, is just discuss it, spread the word, encourage support. Excuse me. And away we go. So there is the link for the feminine hygiene products wish list. We have 1 month and 2 days until the Great Food Giveaway, and we've kind of plateaued. So, you know, some of these feminine hygiene products, as you can see, are dirt cheap. You could spend $10 and get a number of these Amazon Basics. We need 150. We have 21 now. The other Amazon Basics products are quite inexpensive. $5 a pack, $3.78 a pack. Or you can take that money and buy the Playtex Sport tampons. Or the period cups. We only have 2 packages of period cups purchased. Now, when you buy them on the wish list, they are shipped directly to Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. If you want to support, and you let's say you can't, you literally can't support $1. That's totally cool. I get it. Show up and join us on Tuesday, the 23rd of December, and hang out starting at 1 p.m. We start giving away the food at 3 p.m. Rebecca says if you buy any 4 of the Amazon products, you get 10% off the order. Outstanding. Thank you. Did not know that. You're very sweet for pointing that out. And you all are. It is quite a sight when you see the cars all lined up there. And last year was, we finally got over the hump. Like there were lulls in the previous. Last year was year 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There were always lulls in those days where we'd give away a number of boxes of food, and then we'd wait. We used to have to stand at the corner and wave people down, so that was kind of like randos, but people still needed the boxes of food. Last year, not so much. Fox 17 really kicked it into the stratosphere by being nice enough to have me there 1 week beforehand, and that will be the case again this year to talk about it. And that's the point of going on to Fox 17, just to make sure that the public is aware. I mean, I'd love to think that my stupid, silly little podcast got them all there, but no. It's the support of people like them, so thank you. Very cool. Yeah, some of those previous years, it was like, what the heck? What are we going to do with all this food? Then a couple of food pantries. Like, I think on year 1 or year 2, a food pantry showed up and said, we'll take whatever you have left over. We had a lot. We had like 50 meals. Like, here you go. Skip says, do we know how many of the audience will show up? No. Off top of my head, at least 20. The more, the merrier. Okay? Previous years, when we had the great Zaniac exodus when all the losers left, and then they couldn't stop harassing me at every single turn when they hosted We Hate Eric Zane parties with scarecrows with my face on it. Former show supporter, now local maggot, Mike Stalkerito. Initially, when we started this, before he lost his mind, would show up on the corner dressed as Santa Claus. Then, after the great Zaniac exodus, he still tried showing up. He actually did show up. And the ladies were on the corner directing people to come down the street, and then we told them to come back because we had no more food. This was on year number 4. So they come back off the corner. An asshole goes onto the corner, dressed up as Santa still, directing cars down the street. And we see him. They're like, oh, fuck, there he is, that fucking asshole. And so last year we made it a concerted effort to say, fuck you, stay away. And then he went and he picked up a guitar dressed as Santa Claus and shot a video about that, singing some stupid song that he wrote. The guy is fucking unhinged, in my opinion. But I think he finally got the fucking message. Bob says, easy scarecrows, you mean sex dolls. Runner girl Amy says, I will be there. Megan will be there. Linda and Maureen will be there. Mike Ball will be there. Jackie and Justin will be there. Sarah will be there, no doubt. She always is. Kuipers will be there. Black Belt Nick, that's a first-timer. Plans on being there. I'm sure Stevie will be there. Rebecca says, hot take, Mike is as crazy and as weird as Dean. Megan says, Brian and the kids will be there. All right. Today I am out and about at in Walker, Michigan with Kuiper Tree Care because I came up with an idea. I said, let me show up at one of your jobs and I'll do Mike Rowe. We'll shoot video of it. I'll publish it. It's for Kuiper Tree Care. Been meaning to do this for months. Finally is happening today at 2 p.m. That's why I will be getting after this show today so that I finish this one up and as quickly as I possibly can get after the Patreon bonus because I have to be out of here by 1:35 p.m. That's my plan. Fingers crossed that I do not get caught into the chipper. Megan says so many great food giveaway virgins will be there. Yesterday on this show, I started out the program discussing with you that that was a horrible incident on the radio on Q100, and the Patreon folks heard this already, but it's worth telling the story again. I tried to get the audio yesterday at about this time. It did not work out. I have it now. I'm going to play it for you right now. Just a reminder on the background, I'm here. I'm doing Three-Peat Thursday, 9 a.m. Thursday, 3 in a row from your favorite Q100 artists. Everything's great. Bruce Springsteen, can't go wrong with that. Glory Days. I go, all right, yeah, I'll play Glory Days, but I'm going to play the live version. So there's several live versions. I pick one, I play it, and as Springsteen's vamping on, you know, in that studio version of that song, if you remember, from Born in the USA, that album. As Glory Days winds down, you know, it's a rowdy song. You hear Bruce go, hey, you want to go home now? Well, he's doing that on stage, and the crowd is going, we don't want to go home. We don't want to go home. Hey, little Steven, you want to go home? I don't want to go home. Oh, all right, we're not going to go home. That's stupid, you know, whatever. And then I thought I heard it. I heard the boss going, I just want to fucking go home. I went, what the? That got my attention. I go, all right. Radar is on high. And then he said it again, but the second time he said it, the band stopped playing. If Max Weinberg don't want to go home, ain't nobody fucking going home. It's like, oh, no. Oh, my God. It was horrible. It was the cleanest F-bomb. The cleanest F-bomb I have ever heard on the radio since 1985. You might have a fleeting one here and there, but it was the most clear. Like the first F-bomb, there was music underneath it. The second F-bomb, after he references Max Weinberg, and then I immediately pot down the music and jumped in and had to fix this. This is how it sounded yesterday.
Do you want to go home? I just want to fucking go home.
Number one.
And as we know, if Max Weinberg don't go home, nobody goes fucking home.
All right. Now that caught me off guard. I don't want to live in a world where the boss is dropping F-bombs. Are you kidding me? For the love of God, when I play these, I'm counting on the boss not using salty language. My apologies. That was awful. What is he, a gangster rapper, for God's sake? When did Bruce Springsteen start dropping horrible language on his recordings? And typically, there'll be like a little E next to the track that there's nasty words in it. I would have never dreamed that the song Glory Days would have horrible language. My gosh. That next song is called My City of Ruins. It's a wonderful song. You should look it up and listen to it. It's a hymn. Chris and Alan say full Zaytunian mode there. You have to. You have to be in full Zaytunian mode. Ryan knows a thing or two about presenting. He says, handled like a true pro as always. Thank you, Ryan. As numerous audience members say hello to Ryan, who is extremely busy, but when he shows up here, everybody just falls in love with him all over again. Tyler says, Zaytunian mode, quote, golly gee, I can't believe that fella uttered a filthy word like that. 100%. Tyler says that when the boss said it, he said it in slow-mo as well. For the love. All right. This part.
Nobody goes fucking home.
Yeah, that was clean.
Fucking.
Ain't nobody.
Nobody goes fucking home.
Oh. Okay. Ridiculous. Maureen says, you've never told me the story of when you met the boss. Really? I thought the last time we brought this up, I said it on the air. You haven't heard this story? Because I will tell it again. Fridays are often good for story time, even though people have heard this story many times. I'll let the audience be the judge. Should I tell the Springsteen story again? Because it's one for the ages. The Springsteen story is one that is so ridiculous, it sounds made up. Okay? It sounds like it's the type of story that every time I tell it, you add details to make it more ridiculous. But like I've indicated many times to you, I don't butter my bread by changing things in the story from when they happen. It's so much easier just to tell it, because then if I tell it again, the consistency is there. It was I was living in New Jersey, not far from Asbury Park, New Jersey, where Springsteen cut his teeth at venues like the Stone Pony. In fact, this story starts at the Stone Pony. I'm at the Stone Pony broadcasting. This is 2002, 2003. Springsteen has come out with an album called The Rising, inspired by all of the events from 9/11. It's a fantastic release. I love that album. About 4 blocks away from the Stone Pony is Convention Hall. It's a relic of a building that they still maintain despite Asbury Park at the time being a total shithole. Asbury Park since then, again, this is more than 20 years ago, has been revitalized and gentrified, which is outstanding. I love that word. You know, whenever you hear about, oh, man, the neighborhood's been gentrified, I'm like, that's good. You want that. Springsteen says, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to release The Rising at Convention Hall. And we're going to have the Today Show there. So the night before, we actually we're at Convention Hall, and they were doing a rehearsal. Now, remember specifically, Springsteen in New Jersey is like the Beatles in 1964 when they came to America, because I'll never forget this. There is a ramp that goes underneath Convention Hall where the vehicles park, and it was all Springsteen's people, and they come after they've rehearsed the night before. We were there also. Him and the band members pull out in their vehicles, and people are chasing down the street the vehicles. It was incredible. Next day, we're broadcasting. I'm broadcasting, and we had a few minutes. So I said to this guy, Rob Fulmer, who's known as Jetman. I've talked about Jetman many times. He's been on this show. I go, Rob, let's go ride over to Convention Hall on a bike. There was a bike there. Someone left a bike. I go, you get on the bike. I'll pedal, and we'll go to Convention Hall and come right back. We get there, and there's a line. It hasn't opened up yet. It's very early in the day. And we want to go up to the windows and, like, look in, you know? And this is key. I have a blue polo shirt with a collar, short sleeve. Looks like the same color as Best Buy gear. And I had a lanyard that said 1057 The Hawk. And it didn't do anything. It was just for show. It didn't allow you anything, but it looked like an access pass, I guess. So I'm there, khaki shorts, blue shirt, lanyard, and then Fulmer is in suit and tie because he's a salesman. And we're walking toward those doors, and we're having a conversation. We're not paying attention to the guy who is at the door, and he's a body. He's security, big burly guy. And as we're walking towards the door that we're going to go peek in, the guy grabs the door and opens it for us. We're getting closer to him, and I said to Rob, I go, you see this? He says, yeah, keep going. So we walk in. We are now in the foyer of Convention Hall. The door closes behind us, and it's quiet. There's people outside like, Bruce. Like, holy shit. So that we are alone. And then we wander, and he goes, follow me. And we go into the area where the performances take place. Now, this is probably 800, 900 seats, 1,000 maybe. I don't know. And they've got the stage set up, and it's Lots of cameras for the Today Show. There's no one in there. We go and we sit in the seats alone, and we're looking at it, go, wow, this is awesome. Oh, my God. Holy shit. But we don't know where this is going to take us now. At this point, I've left the radio station. They were expecting me back in 3 minutes. It's now 10. And I said, this is an opportunity for a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. And fuck it. Whoever is there, you go on the air. I'm not going back there because I'm going to see this to the end, and you're just going to have to understand. No offense, but fuck you. So we get bored, Rob and I, Jetman. We get up, and we wander out of where the band plays in Convention Hall. And this particular building is very old, and it has I think it's called a veranda. It's like a deck that goes all around the structure. Nice, really nice. Like a giant porch all the way around the facility. And we walk out onto it, and there's tables set up with hospitality, we assume, for the performers. Oh, fuck yes. So we each get food, and then we're kind of walking around. Now, it overlooks the beach in Asbury, because you have deck, beach, thousands of people that are hoping for a glimpse of him, Springsteen or the band. It's a big deal. There's camera booms all on the beach aiming at the building. And we are leaning on the railing overlooking the porch. And we're both eating. And then we hear, hey! We're like, uh-oh, this is it. This is the big one. And then a guy, we look down, probably about 30 feet away, still in the porch area. A guy has poked his head out. He goes, no eating on camera. And we go, yep, our bad. Sorry. The fuck is that supposed to mean? We go back to doing what we're doing. I'm leaning on the railing the way I'm leaning right now on this table. And we're just looking at thousands of people on the beach. We're just milling about. And then all of a sudden, similar to like World War Z, that movie, or any zombie movie, when the zombies see the person, they like start running toward. All these people start like a horde approaching us from the beach. We're looking down on them. We're probably like 10 feet up. And they're frantic. We're like, what the fuck? And then at about, this is a period of several seconds, we go, what are they doing? What are these people doing? And then we both think at the same time, okay, there's no way that they're doing this for you. Something's going on. We turn around, and as far as I am away from the dogs, little Bruce Springsteen. And I see the door open that was right near where that hospitality food was. And Big Clarence and Bruce's mom and Danny Federici and Max Weinberg and Gary Talent and Little Steven. They're all coming out to greet the audience on the fucking beach. And I turn around and I go, Bruce! And I go, what's up? And I put my hand out and he goes, hey! And he shakes my hand. And Rob and I are like, yeah! We're like, hey, how you doing? Everybody, the whole fucking band. And then they replaced us in that spot on the porch looking out at the beach. So that's what everybody was doing there. And we're just like, we kind of like shuffle off to the side and we're watching all of this unfold. Fast forward. I had a VCR recording all of this at my place in Jackson, New Jersey. And Swear to God, there you can see all of what I just described to you happening, from getting yelled at for eating the food, to being there alone with Rob, to the interaction with the band, to the people running on the beach towards the porch. You can see all of that happen from those camera booms way off to the south of where we were on the porch. Was recording all that for the Today Show. So on the Today Show, you see all that fucking happen. It's kind of like that scene when Marty sees Doc get shot by the Libyans. It's incredible. Piano Finger Banger says we need this video. It exists. It is out there. I gave it to Jetman. Jetman has it at his place. And I don't have it, but it does exist. If it hasn't been, like, destroyed by oxidation. Wow. Maureen says I was watching the Today Show that day. Now, we then went back into Convention Hall and we watched the show. And if you go to that video of us on there, I mean, of them performing, there are several shots of us like looking at the camera, waving. It was so much fun. So this all took what was supposed to be a 3-minute trip. And then that finished. We left in an orderly fashion with everybody else. And I walked back to the Stone Pony. Now, what was supposed to be a 3-minute trip was about 90 minutes. We got back there, and radio station staff was like, what happened? Where did you go? And they were pissed. And I said, well, and I explained what happened. And everybody there, except for 2 people, were understanding of what had happened. And so I basically said to the 2, go fuck yourselves. Too bad. I've got a great story to talk about. Chris in Buffalo says, this was the first time I pissed off Freebird. No, I had many, many times before that. So it was just awesome. Just awesome. Kuiper says, call Jetman. I would, but him and I have had this conversation so many times. We've actually talked about it on this show. Now, not everybody's heard that because different people listen different times of the day or just might miss a show entirely. But, yeah, that is my interaction with Bruce Springsteen. And it was ridiculous because it all just kind of like opened up for us. I'll never forget that feeling when the security guard opened that door. We were like, what is happening here? By the way, I see somebody has just sent a, big Dono. Dono just sent some cheddar our way for the, what do you call it? For the Great Food Giveaway. Thank you so much. I have in front of me right now the Today Show video from that day. Megan just sent it along. Wow. Now, I can't go through it right now. Okay, so here you got Bruce playing. There's Gary Talent. There's Little Steven. There's Mighty Mighty Max Weinberg. There's commercials. There's Bruce. There's Boardwalk Hall or Convention Hall. Okay, I will go through this. There's the beach. Matt Lauer before he got in trouble. Here's the crew getting interviewed before they go on stage. This includes the commercials, too, by the way. So I will go ahead and go through this with a fine-tooth comb. And perhaps I can find exactly what we're looking for. It may be here, it may not, because this is right before Bruce starts performing. I'm hopeful that this is it. But I think I've actually reviewed this before now that it kind of comes to mind. Katie Couric. All right, but thank you anyway. I will look into it. Bob says, man, curious about the 2002 commercials. I'm getting I see a comment that's concerning me. It says RIP to the feed. I'm wondering why it says that. Is everything okay on your end as you audience members consume this edition of the Eric Zane Show podcast? I'm hoping it is. Stevie says everything is okay here. All right, good. Folks, I want to get into this story. You remember how Trump said to that reporter, quiet piggy. He was on Air Force One, and there were two people talking to him. They're both ladies. And rather than saying, one at a time, you first, he pointed his finger directly in the face of the other one and said, quiet, piggy. Oh, my God. Can you imagine if I was actually someone famous? Everything else the same about me except I was actually famous. And there was a press conference, and that same thing happened. And then I came home to Pooh Bear. What she would do to me if she saw the footage of me looking at a reporter in the face and saying, quiet, piggy, while pointing my finger right in her face, what she would do to me? You know, it's my lifelong goal for the remainder of my days to have every day not with an upset Pooh Bear. Now, sometimes I make mistakes. The last time I made Pooh Bear upset was many, many months ago when I was frustrated about something, and I don't recall what. But I said to her, yeah, why don't you learn to do the laundry? That set me back big time. That was quite a loss of Pooh Bear points. And I very, very rarely misstep like that. But the problem when you rarely misstep, that when you do step in it, she's so not used to that it's going to take a long time to dig out of that hole. So that was an ugly, ugly day. And so, you know, honestly, you have to, at that point, you can be have a bucket full of Pooh Bear points that you took you considerable time to fill up, but you can lose it in an instant. That's what happened. So I can just imagine how much trouble I would be in if I behaved like that, let alone did it to her. Chris, who works in wastewater treatment, says that Pooh Bear point loss was the equivalent of me taking a shit bath to the face. Skip says, why did you respond with that? I don't remember. I just know it was bad. I can't remember a lot of the things that happen in my life ever. Ryan says, in this hypothetical, it's clear that Eric Zane was the one talking to the reporter, not Eric Zaitunian. What are you talking about? Oh, the Trump thing. Well, anyway, Trump did that. I can't believe I didn't know where you were going with that. I was just talking about it. Man Bun Chris is here. He says, who has two thumbs and always forgets about the Friday early start? This guy. Morning, everyone. Welcome. Yeah, we're 46 minutes into this deal. You just missed the great Springsteen story when I met him in Asbury Park. All right. So if I'm the president and I do that to a reporter, I come home, I get my ass kicked. I think I'm going to have to actually say I'm sorry at some point, which I hate to say sorry. But with that big of a fuck up, I'm going to have to say sorry. Trump is not going to say sorry. In fact, Trump didn't say a word of it, but the person who did is the White House spokesperson, Caroline Leavitt. This is the response when a reporter asks about that moment.
What did the president mean when he called the reporter piggy?
What did the president mean when he called the reporter piggy? Now, the smart answer, I should say, the truthful answer is, yeah, he was insulting her in a horrible way. That's the truth. That's what happened. Yes, he was insulting her. But listen to how she spins this. She doesn't really answer it. She just says this.
Look, the president is very frank and honest with everyone in this room. You've all seen it yourself. You've all experienced it yourselves. And I think it's one of the many reasons that the American people reelected this president, because of his frankness. And he calls out fake news when he sees it. He gets frustrated with reporters when you lie about him, when you spread fake news about him and his administration. But he also is the most transparent president in history. And he gives all of you in this room, as you all know, unprecedented access. You are in the Oval Office almost every day asking the president questions. And so I think the president being frank and open and honest to your faces rather than hiding behind your backs is frankly a lot more respectful than what you saw in the last administration, where you had a president who lied to your face and then didn't speak to you for weeks and hid upstairs and didn't take your questions. So I think everyone in this room should appreciate the frankness and the openness that you get from President Trump on a near daily basis.
That is probably the most unbelievable flipping of the script that I have ever seen in my entire life. She took a moment where Trump pointed a finger at a reporter and said, "Quiet, piggy," and turned that in a minute and 4 seconds into it being their fault, describing that as a virtue of being frank and honest, suggested that's why he won the election, referred to that as transparency, said that they probably prefer it because he's saying it to their face, calling them a piggy, then behind their back, and then the cherry on top said Biden was a pile of shit who never talked to you. So you should probably smile and take your medicine, bitch. That's what she did there. Tyler says, quote, "The last president would call you all piggies behind your back, so I think you should be grateful that he's doing it to your face." Precisely. That's exactly what she said. Now, she said all that expertly, like a good spokesperson should, calmly, patiently, but sternly, and with a straight face. When you are paid the big bucks, you have to say those ridiculous things with a straight face. You have to gaslight and do it in a serious fashion so that these reporters, if Caroline Leavitt is successful, are going, "Oh, fuck, she's right. We shouldn't have done that. This is our fault." Oh, my God. If I'm Trump, I give her a raise. You can say what you want. But if I am in any position where I have a spokesperson, I want someone like that on my team. That's like a great lawyer in closing arguments, winning it with those final statements. Frank and honest. You're fake news. He's transparent. You're lucky. Biden couldn't do that. My God. What an ass kicking. Ryan says, you have to love how this lady spun the death to Congress women remarks. I don't know what that means, but it sounds good. She's a real talent. She's a legend. 100%. You cannot deny that. She took 3 words, quiet, piggy, and turned it around so that the American people are like, she's right. We love her. Wow. And there are more than half of Americans who love that. They think that that is an excellent thing and 100% right. And, I mean, I'm not going to get in the way and say, if you believe that or you support that, you're a good person or a bad person. It's not really my game these days. I don't care. But I'm here for the spectacle. I'm looking at what can I talk about. I don't let my personal views get in the way of what I just witnessed, which was an incredible effort on her part, and in my opinion, very, very successful. She made that reporter look like shit. Ryan says, I don't want to take your thunder, but yeah, she's in the news today. White House says Trump wasn't calling for executions after condemning Democrats' military video. No, I did not see that. Thank you, though. And that is referring to the Trump posting on Truth Social that Hillary Slotkin, when she said encouraging
Patricia Heaton looks great at 67.
Members of ICE, hey, don't obey those orders, whatever the fuck. Trump was like, yeah, that's seditious behavior punishable by death. Thank you for the tip-off, Ryan. I love the fact that this, in a lot of ways, people have suggested, Alyssa Slotkin, what did I say? People have suggested that when these moments happen, it's Trump trying to distract. It's called Wag the Dog. There was a whole movie about this.
Let's go now to our White House correspondent, Haley Bull. She is live on the North Lawn. And Haley, the rhetoric seemed to be interesting today. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Del, the White House appearing to try to shift the conversation.
Oh, boy. Bad puker.
Criticizing the questioning of the president's comments themselves and not the questioning of the comments from Democratic lawmakers.
Chick's name is Haley Bull.
Behind it. To back this up, what we are seeing unravel, several Democratic lawmakers with history serving in the intelligence community and military released a video calling for those communities to refuse illegal orders. The president took to Truth Social in a number of posts, writing, quote, seditious behavior punishable by death. In another post, he said, quote, each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, when asked if the president wants to execute lawmakers, said no, and again criticized.
Chris writes, if you can't see this, sorry, but Chris wrote, maybe run a comb through your hair. Oh, God.
that discussion, maintaining that there could be chaos caused by the words of those lawmakers, standing by their belief that the lawmakers are insinuating that Trump's orders are illegal.
She is speaking like every single word ends in a period.
This afternoon, we are hearing from those Democratic lawmakers who released that initial video, and they stated, quote, "We are veterans and national security professionals who love the country and swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. That oath lasts a lifetime, and we intend to keep it. No threat, intimidation, or call for violence will deter us from that sacred obligation."
Okay, I can't stand it. Is there an update? Is there anything new? White House insists Trump wasn't calling for the execution. Yeah, but he did. So I don't know. And even if he did, I don't think it matters with Trump. Is anybody going to be executed? Of course not. You probably shouldn't do that, though, because that type of talk might inspire some of these wackos that exist in the world. Bread Bowl Brain Chris is going hard on Haley Bowl. First, he attacks her about having hair that he didn't like. And now he's beating her up about no makeup. What the hell has gotten into you? Ryan says, holy reporter voice. Murder lover Linda said, I referred to her as Hillary Slotkin. You're right, Alyssa Slotkin. Amanda says, Bob called her a horse face. Okay, so Bob calls her a horse face. Bread Bowl Brain Chris is letting her have it because he doesn't like the lack of makeup and also doesn't like her hair. There is a lot of Eric Zane that is influencing the audience today. Proof positive that I really don't need to do all the heavy lifting these days. Amanda says, it's today, man. You would think that they were calling her a piggy. Patrick says, in her defense, the makeup wouldn't help. Horrible. Megan is rolling her eyes, and I don't blame her. Joe Martinez is here. He says, if the Dems take the House and the Senate back, that dumb shit is going to flip. Runner girl Amy points out, I love when everyone feeds off each other in the comments. Oh, 100%. And you're a lot of the times leading the brigade. Most would agree that Amy is kind of like a mild-mannered, polite soul. But lately in particular, she has been dropping hard bombs on people that aren't deserving. Like we were talking about a child that was born with cerebral palsy and can't talk and is in a wheelchair. And she said they ought to throw that kid in the ocean. It was awful. I can't believe she did that. All right. Thank you, as always, to the sponsors that help make this show go. Skydive Grand Haven. Brand new. This is a rare 2-week sponsorship. And it's important that I move the meter in these 2 weeks. If I move the meter in these 2 weeks, they will be back. This is a straight up market and you buy. Now, what we have here is an Eric Zane Show podcast special. What was $299 for an 8,000-foot tandem jump coming up in the summer of 26? You can get it. Was $299. Now $199 through Black Friday. If you've always wanted to do this, you'll never find a lower price than right now. And if you buy it, the only marketing that they're doing right now is with my show. I get credit for it. If I get credit for it, they're back. So, one of two things you can do. Actually, buy it for $1.99, give it away as a gift to someone, or use it yourself. That's up to you. It's a very unique gift, perfect for that special someone who might be interested in some type of thing like this. Skydive Grand Haven. You can see them right over here, just before the BC Pizza logo. Go to skydivegrandhaven.com. And then at the top, it says Shop Gift Certificates. Once you do that, you'll see a bunch of different things that show up on the screen. Click where it says $1.99 Black Friday. That's my sale. When you buy that between now and through Black Friday, I get credit. So if you've been thinking about it, do it. All right. For you or someone you know or love, you have through Black Friday. That means the day after Black Friday, it's going back up to $2.99. So you got to buy. And if you buy, you're really helping me out because I've got my audience supporting me in a way that the good folks at Skydive Grand Haven are like, oh, this is fantastic. The old return on investment. If this is not for you, or if you're like, I can't think of anybody who would like this, when you see my post on Facebook every day announcing this Black Friday sale with Skydive Grand Haven, please, on your social media, share it or retweet it on X. Or I don't even know if you would say retweet on X anymore. But for sure, share it so that people in your circle will see it. And if you share it again, like the next day, and then the next day, because there'll be a different post. I'm trying to get as many asses in the seats as possible to ensure a successful advertising campaign for the good folks over at Skydive Grand Haven, which will help me out in the long run. I have another brand new sponsor that you'll be hearing a lot about in the coming days, weeks, months, years. Merchant Automotive. They're in Zeeland, Michigan. Now, for those of you that live in the area where I live, near Zeeland, Michigan, and you have a diesel truck with a Duramax engine and or a Allison transmission, and you're in the weeds about how to repair it, they are the authorities on those two things, Duramax engines, Allison transmissions. Merchant-automotive.com. Owned and operated by the one, the only, Eric Merchant, who drives the number 6 limited late model at Berlin. When you go to their website, merchant-automotive.com, their contact info is up there. You can call, talk to somebody yourself, or you can do the old connect with us and do it that way. You can also shop by category. In addition to repairing what I just talked about, they sell products that they make there themselves to anyone around the world. A lot of aftermarket things that can help the performance of your vehicle. They're their kit lineup. So there are several kits that you can purchase at Merchant Automotive, and the possibilities are endless. Stuff for your cooling system, heating and air conditioning, fuel system, steering and suspension. Basically, if you're the DIY pro, they have everything that you could possibly want at Merchant Automotive. Find them at merchant-automotive.com. And thank you to Eric Merchant and the crew over there. Bob says they have dirty diesels and Irvine's is hybrid EVs. Megan says that Eric Merchant is a good friend of mine. We don't work on the same stuff. Yeah, there can be only one business in the area that services cars, and that is Irvine's. All makes and models, EVs, and hybrids. And, of course, Merchant is for exactly what Bob said. Allison transmission and Duramax diesel engines. Amanda had asked the question, isn't that a conflict of interest for Irvine's? And Megan says, no. Totally different. What Amanda just did there is nothing wrong, but that gives you a good idea about why advertising, you have to make sure that the audience, that you repeat the message as much as possible, because most of the time when it comes to marketing, most people don't pay attention to marketing. That's why you have to work really hard to make sure that they hear it. Literally, I've been talking about Irvine's for 7 years. But a lot of the times, most consumers, when they hear any type of advertising, they don't tune in the way they do otherwise. And that's one of the tricks. You have to figure out how to keep them engaged. Megan, enjoying the show. And also is Chris, who is at the Chicago airport. I remember he talked about this on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. He's on his way to New Mexico to see his dad and to get a new truck that he bought. So, all right, that's incredible. And then you're going to drive it back. Yet another vehicle for our pal Chris in Buffalo. Boy, New Mexico to Buffalo. So let me just look that up. New Mexico to Buffalo mileage. Ugh. That is intense, my friend. You're going to drive back this far? What a cock. What part of Mexico? Or New Mexico? Mexico. Because this is literally in the middle of New Mexico. And it's a 1,600 some odd miles drive. Actually, almost 1,700. 24 hours of driving. And you're alone. Be careful because, you know, when I am driving and I'm 2-3 hours in a vehicle, I'm tired at that point. You're going to have to do some sleeping. I sure hope you don't plan on doing this in 2 days. Unless you have a backup driver with you. Oh, my God. He says that I make it in 2 days. Santa Fe to Buffalo. Ugh, dude. That is so much driving. Holy shit. Ugh. The farthest I went was right here on the map. Virgin, Utah, which is right on the border of Arizona. That was when I went from Zion Canyon, or Grand Rapids to Zion Canyon. Hold on a second here. Easy story time. Virgin, Utah, from Hudsonville. Sorry. First trip we ever took with an RV was this trip right here. The dark blue. And when I saw it says 25 hours. Think about this. I was so green when it comes to traveling by automotive or RV that to me, I thought 25 hours meant we'll be there the next day. What that means is you're actually moving for 25 hours. That doesn't include eating, sleeping, bathroom breaks. Now, that far of a trip, like right now, for 1,770 miles. Ooh, that would be tough to do in 3 days, let alone the time that I did it. Day one, we drove from Hudsonville to Des Moines, which meant I think I had more than 1,000 miles after I knocked off that amount. So 1,700 miles is what I needed to get, 1,770 miles. And on day one of the trip to Zion, we knocked off. Oh, shit, I'm fucking this up. Not many miles. 481. Oh, my God. That means on day two, we woke up at 6 a.m. at a truck stop in Des Moines, and I had another 1,288 miles to go. So we headed out down the road. And the next, so I drove all day, and then it becomes nighttime. I didn't stop till I got to Virgin, Utah at about 2 in the morning. So that was 20 hours of driving, roughly, 2, 3 in the morning that I got to the destination. Pitch black, middle of nowhere, plateau-type landscape. And it was a bitch. And I remember hallucinating. And Diana had to, you know how like in an RV, there's space in between? She had to sit next to me and keep pinching me as we kept going. And so that was probably the worst planned trip ever, because in addition to that, I didn't know that in the RV that I had at the time, it never occurred to me that I have to fill up the potable water tank. You know, so you get like a 50, 60-gallon water tank in that thing so that you can cook, go to the bathroom, take a shower. I didn't do any of that. And so we get 25 miles from home and out the door, and Jackie goes, "There's no water." And I'm like, "Oh, no." Matt writes, "Holy shit, give me more details, Steve Zane." Sorry. In order to get water into that thing, you know those car washes where you have the high-pressured hose? I had to jam one of those wands where you put the fresh water in. The thing about those freshwater hoses, they don't really put out, or those high-pressure hoses, they don't really put out a large volume of water. It's just high pressure because of the nozzle. So I had to stand there with that stupid thing at a car wash, pumping quarters into the thing in Des Moines, Iowa, for like 15 minutes. Spent a ton of money to fill that fucking thing up. It was ridiculous. All right, and then we took off, and it was a goddamn nightmare getting there. Matt asks, what color was the hose? Let's see. Piano Banger, Finger Banger says, where were you when you drove 500 miles in the wrong direction and then had to trade your sheepdog van for a scooter? And then Amy said, is this a real story? And I guess no. I think that's from a film. Bob says, did you leave the car wash setting on soap instead of rinse? No, that would have been the worst. Matt asks, what year were the quarters that you put in? There is a brand new sport in Australia that has one rule: run straight into another human at max velocity. Run Nation held its first trial in Sydney. The crowd loved every violent second. This is rugby for people who thought the dodging part is unnecessary. Get ready for this. First hit. Wow, that guy's knocked out. Jeez. These are two big dudes. Okay, now, basically, it's just a meathead bashing of skulls. That guy hurt his knee there. Look at this guy. This dude takes off his shirt. This fat ass. What? Whammo! That guy ran all that. This dude just kind of stood there. Stood that guy right up. Oh, shit. This is some painful shit right here. That's all I need to see forever on this. Unless if there's a muppety flippity leg break. Murder lover Linda says, my son would love watching this. Stevie says, what the hell is this? How stupid. Yeah. David in Hudsonville says it takes a special kind of idiot to do that. What do you think is worse? Guy who does that or MMA guy? I think this is a lot worse. MMA guy has an unbelievable skill set. This isn't anything other than just running and hitting them, you know? I mean, MMA guy truly is going to get his brains bashed in, so that's not the smartest thing in the world, but Stevie says the chat is really on fire today. Piano Finger Banger says, LOL, dude, that car wash water isn't reused. It's fresh. Oh, well, that's terrible. Piano Finger Banger says, source used to work at a car wash. Yeah, we probably drank semen. Black Belt Nick says, that is worse. MMA is fun. Everybody agrees that Run Nation is silly and stupid and pointless. I'm not a fan of MMA. The only time I watch MMA is when there's highlights. Okay? I can't, I don't know. My feeble brain just can't handle it. All right. Thank you to Tyler. That would be Spooky Tyler who sent along. There was, I guess, an issue at Miss Universe 2025 where some of the contestants or one of the contestants or something like that happened, wiped out while doing the walk around the stage in the evening gown. Check it out. Here we go. Oh, my God. Oh, did she ever disappear? How do you do this? She has to have fallen into some type of abyss, never to be seen again, right? Then there's this one. Oh, okay. I think that's Miss Jamaica, and she's taken off on a stretch. She's got to be deceased. She has to be, right?
Maya, Noria moved to.
They're just going to put a casket out there for her. Boy, she was really something else, too. She looked great. Wow! Oh. That is frightening. What cracks me up is, according to Spooky Tyler, as a career, that lady who fell is an ophthalmologist. Yeah, the joke has written itself there. Birch Barlow said Max Weinberg must have said it was time to go home to her. Ryan says, broken face. Tyler says there was another contestant who wiped out too. I didn't see that one. Okay, this might be it. I don't know what she's doing. She's walking out with like a... Okay.
Great Britain. This costume parallels Danielle with Eliza Doolittle from My Fair Lady, highlighting her early hardships and self-actualized transformation. Sporting two looks, it's one for the books. Great Britain. Great Britain.
Kind of like a Mary Poppins.
This costume parallels Danielle with Eliza Doolittle from My Fair Lady, highlighting her early hardships and self-actualized transformation.
Shit eating once again.
Sporting two looks, it's one for the books. Great Britain.
No. Ugh. Am I the only one who finds beauty pageants to be the most cringy shit ever? Bob says not alone. Rebecca says, I agree, super cringy. And that this was the opposite of the swimsuit competition. Bob says, in the face! Spooky Tyler says, Jamaica disappeared. Great Britain bounced her face off the stage. Yeah, I have a pal that does pageants, Jackie Green. And it's been like in her life, she's been doing it for her whole life. And got her daughter into it, Greenlee. And I guess she's quite good at it. And I don't like to ask too many questions, about your skill set. But, like if you're in sports, your skill set is the sport. You're good at the sport. Well, I guess this is the skill set is to carry yourself in a particular way. To look good and in model-like fashion. I don't know. I mean, it's an acquired skill set that only a small percentage of the population can pull off. I cannot be critical of pageant girl guy. Linda says, I have a horrible joke about John Bonet and pageants that just came to mind, but I won't say it. She's being accused of blue balling. Then she says, all right, if you insist, she's probably glad she's dead, so she didn't have to do shit like that anymore. You know, that joke doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that people made you tell it. It doesn't surprise me that you were thinking of it. The chat has become a bunch of animals. All right? I don't have to do anything. I don't have to say any crazy shit because I can just look at the chat. Rebecca says, murder lover Linda out here murdering already dead pageant kids. All right. As we sit here, I need to go to the boys' room, so I'm going to leave you with something to listen to while I'm away. Last time we did this, I played for you Free Beer's Brain Tumor Talk because it's nearly 3 minutes. Steve's Echo Effect is getting quite long as well. I think I can get back here in the 2 minutes and 10 seconds, 2 minutes and 12 seconds to use the boys' room. So I am going to take an intermission to go tinkle, and you can enjoy the awesomeness of Steve's Echo Effect.
That must make banking hard.
That must make banking difficult.
Direx or whatever it is.
Direx.
Race you to Dead Man's Curve.
Yeah.
Because people die. They'll say, I'll give it a goog.
Give it a goog.
I'll pee in that cup.
I'll pee in that cup.
Is that why you call me Mrem all the time?
Mrem.
Just ask Toggy.
You dipstick?
Yeah, you dipstick.
Yep.
They call French fries palm frites. The sound of those 10-disc CD changers in the trunk.
In the trunk.
I'm a video game dog.
I'm a video game dog.
Max Joe Steel is back.
Max Joe Steel.
Wait to use that someday.
Shitty face cut.
Face cut.
You guys ever feel like Big Bread?
Big bread.
Maybe the paper will talk about it. That's the 90s.
The paper.
Still calls sex beating the night terrors.
Beating the night terrors.
I dated a guy who thought it was a good idea to aggressively nibble the bean while he was at Y-Town.
I nibbled the bean at Y-Town.
My mother-in-law makes puke. That's what she calls it.
Puke.
Tiger shark, like across the sleeves and everything. It has a guy on a jet ski that says Monte Carlo.
Tiger shark.
We're going for the oversized
Monte
look.
Carlo.
An endearingly saccharine person named
Enduringly saccharine person.
Felid of the Panthera genus.
Panthera genus.
Broketron, unite!
Broketron.
The Little Lightning Jump Rope Team.
The Little Lightning Jump Rope Team. Nothing. He wants to be nothing. When I grow up, I want to be nothing.
Fancy Sam's or whatever. I don't know.
Fancy Sam.
Suck me up into his bank tube of love.
His bank tube of love.
Frosted Flakes and dirt on it.
Frosted Flakes and dirt.
There's a long line at the register.
There's a long line at the cash register.
At the last minute, I decided to go in to herd her out of there.
I went in there to herd my wife out of there.
Yeah. This person says, I quit Ty Bo within an hour with Billy Blanks when I fell into my closet.
Dude,
Ty Bo.
I couldn't even walk to the store to get a Faygo Moon Myth.
It's true. And
A woman has won the 2025 Florida Pipe.
A woman.
it looks
Why
like a
not a
merkin.
Looks
Like a merkin.
Well, Megan says, I hate this. I can understand that, but it's still incredible. Piano Finger Banger says, my God. Rebecca says, I'm dumber now that I've listened to this. Corn Pop says, awful. Rebecca says, is Eric punishing us for something we did? Matt says, that show should be considered a war crime. It absolutely violates the Geneva Convention. I've got a number of things that I want to play for you that our pal, Man Bun Chris, sent our way. Rando online has a question of the day. Let's discuss it.
Question today is, for $1 million, would you rather have to stay in a room for 1 week? You're allowed to eat, you're allowed to sleep, but you can't talk, you can't make any noise, you can't do anything else, no phone, no stimulation or anything. 1 week in a room by yourself. Or have to only eat white bread for 1 full year.
This is the easiest thing on the planet. I would take the first one. How hard could that be? I mean, that's not even close. And you have to be in there. You can't even speak out loud to yourself. I don't even care if that's the case. I mean, honestly, most of my time is spent talking to myself anyway. I'll just think to myself. Taking that over just eating white bread for a year? There's like massive health ramifications if you do that. Stevie says no dogs for a week. No thanks. I'll take the bread. Well, it didn't say that, did it?
Would you rather have to stay in a room for 1 week? You're allowed to eat, you're allowed to sleep, but you can't talk, you can't make any noise, you can't do anything else. No phone, no stimulation or anything. 1 week in a room by yourself. Or
okay, by yourself. Do they feed you in the room? I guess. Not interacting with anyone for 1 week. I'll do that for free. Of course, you're Spooky Tyler. I don't think that's a tough decision, but some of you would actually eat the bread for a week? Oh, man. Scott Van Pelt from the Scott SVP podcast is frustrated with people leaving him messages about a loan that he did not sign up for. Dogs cannot be in the room, Megan. Here's Scott Van Pelt about this exact thing. Decent rant here. I like this.
I don't know how to make it stop.
By the way, this guy, Scott Van Pelt, he looks like he hasn't aged, but he looks like he's always looked like he's his body's riddled with cancer. Like he's always looked quite
I don't know
sick.
how to make it stop, but I just wanted to say to the loan processing department, fund review division, whatever made up bullshit company you say, I didn't apply for a loan for $68,000. My file is not just a couple of pieces of information away from being approved because I didn't apply for a loan. Please stop calling my phone and leaving me messages every single day. Creating this pseudo fake, hey, I've just been looking at your file and there's like a little chuckle. It's incredible how sinister you bad actors are. Who's the folks that you call that go, son of a bitch, all I got to do is give them this information for the loan. They know they didn't apply for a loan, don't they?
No. There's too many stupid people in the world. That's why they're still doing it. They're successful at it.
I assume they must not, or you wouldn't be doing this. I get messages every single day, multiple times a day.
5 times.
And it's John, it's Maria, it's none of them are real people. It's incredible when I get from different numbers on different days and I'll compare them and I'll say, oh, it's the exact same recording. And then it's even scarier. It's like clearly AI, real charming, folksy kind of way. All I got to do is give you that information and you're going to unlock the funds. It's like the reverse of Glengarry Glen Ross. The leads. We need the good leads. No, you just need the information. And then I get the money for a low rate. I didn't apply for a loan. Jesus Christ. How do I make it stop?
You can't.
Who do I call?
I tried blocking a number. It comes from another number.
It's never the same number.
It's unreal.
We're never answering, so you're clear. You can leave them until forever. And then I suppose maybe at some point I'll get dementia and then I'll give you the info and then off to the races. I beg of you, universe, whoever, how do we make it not a thing? I guess you just surrender to it.
No, don't give up.
Okay, no, there is you do give up. What they're looking for, what they're looking for is an elderly person, and there are tens of, if not hundreds of millions of susceptible to that type of persuasion, elderly Americans, and it's easy. You're just not in the demo. But you will be at some point. I think we're seeing more and more successful scammers do that. I think that the scammers in general are getting fairly good at that in a way that's the bread and butter. Beforehand, you'd get like a phone call, or you'd get, sometimes they would try to get your access to your bank account, that type of fraud. But that's even been able to be protected a hell of a lot more. The easy way to do it is just speak to an elderly person. There are so many of them in the United States. It's easy as pie. My God. Speaking of the elderly, next week I will be going to the Thanksgiving get-together with Meathead, Joanne, and a number of my extended family for Thanksgiving. And we're going to be crashing at Meathead's. Not Meathead's. Remember how I described to you that they're staying at my stepsister's husband's house? They live right on the lake. They have a second house right next to it. That's where my dad is staying with Joanne while she continues her recovery, which is she's doing great. So we're getting ready for a blowout. Now, I am on the hook for the Slaughter the Turks Easy Sweet Potato Spectacular. If you have not yet tried the Slaughter the Turks Easy Sweet Potato Spectacular, you must do this. Between now and my last show prior to Thanksgiving, up until Thanksgiving, I guess Wednesday would be my last show next week. I will post the recipe for you. I used to never like sweet potatoes until I started making them. Every person that has my Slaughter the Turks Easy Sweet Potato Spectacular says, this is the greatest sweet potatoes I've ever had. It's like a candy treat. This is not diet food. I'm excited to make them. You can make them too for the low, low cost of nothing when you click on the link in the comments. So there isn't a single bit of a Thanksgiving feast that I don't like. You think about all the amazing foods on one plate, and I am a full-on taste mashup, taste explosion type of guy. I'll start with different spots. Like the plate is big to begin with. You got the turkey. You've got mashed. You've got gravy. You've got stuffing. You've got cranberry. You've got sweet potatoes. You've got green bean casserole. You've got mac and cheese, homemade mac and cheese, outstanding mac and cheese, all on one plate. And then I will actually take that, and with a sharp knife, I will start to cut and blend it all together so it becomes like a enormous Thanksgiving shepherd's pie. I could make a replica Devil's Tower just like Richard Dreyfuss in that movie. None of you get that reference. No, I take it back. Maureen gets it. Linda gets it. Bread Bowl Brain Chris gets it. The rest of you don't get that. David gets it. He's old, too. Birch Barlow, he gets it. Close Encounters. Maureen says, nope, I don't get it. Great movie, by the way. And considering it was the mid-1970s, outstanding special effects. Steven Spielberg. Terrific. When we traveled to Devil's Tower, man, what a visit. That place is awesome. There's a campground right at the base of Devil's Tower where every night they show the film Close Encounters. You're outside. They got a big screen. The sun is setting. You're looking at the screen. Just to the right of the screen in the background as the sun sets, you are looking at the shadow. Well, the darkened pillar that goes however high in the sky, 500 feet, 600 feet, 700 feet, while the sun sets. And then you watch the film, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's fucking nuts. Oh. When you come out from your trip up the tower or to the tower, walk around it, you drive out and there's a prairie dog village. And it wasn't put there. It's just there. And you're not supposed to touch them because they will come up to you. But they carry the bubonic plague. No lie. The prairie dogs. And it doesn't hurt them, but it's going to kill you and you're going to start a black plague. But you pull your car over and you're just literally looking at all these little fuckers come out, look around at you. Hey! And then they dip back in the hole, and then there's hundreds of prairie dogs, which are adorable. Hold on. Prairie Dog Park, Devil's Tower.
Quickest way to...
I love this trip. There's the tower. Holy shit. That's it. You pull over. See all these mounds? That's what little fuckers come out of. Look at, there's one. There's another one. There's another one. And they're fat as fuck. Look at that little fat bastard. He goes in there. There's another one over here. Types of creatures with hands, like raccoons. She would have stolen one for sure. What's that chick? I've been waiting for this my whole life. Easy music, much hotter than Mike. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Piano Finger Banger says, all I can hear is the music and not a word that Easy is saying. Music too loud, voice too low. My bad. My bad. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, there's prairie dog shooting competitions out west. I don't want to be part of that. Anyway, how did I get on that? I don't even remember how I got to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, on November 19th, which was just 2 days ago, that turns out to be the 20th anniversary of the greatest moment in sports history. And as Maureen says, sweet potatoes led us to that. And I'm talking about the Malice at the Palace.
So the 12.
Apologies for the rough video, because this is at a time, I guess, when they didn't have that great a video. But let's go back in time and enjoy this.
So the 12, all 5 starters in double figures. The Pacers have played a very intelligent game tonight. Ben Wallace is fouled, and Wallace did.
All right, Ben Wallace.
Right at our.
He shoves Ron Artest. Okay, and that's what gets that. Then they're playing the feud.
This has potential to be serious if they don't get between. Wallace upset. Players trying to hold each other off. Steven Jackson and Rasheed Wallace trying to be peacemakers. Now Jackson yelling. Wallace still going. You need the coaches in there to get him away.
All right, so then they're breaking him up. No big deal.
Jackson.
This guy's squaring up. This Jackson guy.
Challenging Derek Coleman. Somebody should just get Jackson out of quickly as possible. The problem is, if Wallace is ejected, I'm not.
All right, now this is the moment. It was an edit. Artest is laying on the scorer's table, and you'll see the cup right there land and hit him in the face. It came from out of nowhere. Now, he has no idea who threw it. He just knows the general direction where it came from. Well, that's all it took, and that lighted the spark.
Sure.
And he goes, I'm going to go beat up a fan. So then he runs into the stands. And now see this guy in the white hat and the blue. He threw the cup. Artest was close. He ran by the guy and went to this guy who has his mouth open wearing the black shirt and beats him up.
Scorer's table and is trying to get down to the bench. Artest is in the stands. Oh, this is awful. Fans are getting involved. Steven Jackson's in the fans. Rasheed Wallace going into the stands. The security trying to somehow restore order. Fans and players are going at it, and the players trying to help each other out. This is a disgrace.
No, it's not.
All the players now, they're jumping in there to try and get the other players out because the fans have come involved.
Here's Chauncey Billups. He's probably saying, man, let's go play some cards. I'm going to take all your money.
Sad scene here at the Palace. And now another fight's breaking out in front of the Pistons bench.
Okay, I like this one moment when the player for the Pacers, he socks like a fan right in the face.
This is very, very dangerous. Fans are throwing cups with liquid in them now onto the court. Ron Artest has a look in his eye that's very scary right now. You wonder if the official's going to let this game continue. Now they're throwing bottles out onto the floor. They're trying to get the Pacers to go back to the locker room. What was maybe you could call a hard foul at best has turned into just an ugly, ugly scene.
All right. I always liked the people that were like, this is terrible. This is so bad. I'm like, fuck that. We need more of that. Bob says can't challenge a guy who hits him in a cup with the face. Maureen says this is why we can't have bottled drinks in arenas anymore. My God, what a moment. 20 years ago on Wednesday, the Malice at the Palace. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you to more of my key sponsors. Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV, 616-532-6600. Find them at ervines.com. That's ervines.com. Great place to get your car fixed. Any car, make or model, any EV, any hybrid. The place where the dealers take drop-off cars to get them fixed when they can't do it. That's how good they are there. Tyler says, I'll never forget that game. My dad turned the channel when I wanted to watch the ending, then flipped it back after the action already happened. Oh, my God. Thank you, as always, to Irvine's for supporting the show and being part of the great food giveaway. You guys are absolutely awesome. Great team over there. Great local business. Give them a call, 616-532-6600. They have free loaner cars for you. Can't forget about Kuiper Tree Care. Kuiper, KuiperTreeCare.com at 616-828-8225. If you're in the West Michigan area and you need a tree removed, stump ground up, tree trimmed, storm damage, got you down, tree risk assessment, Kuiper Tree Care can help. Kuiper, treecare.com. Call or text 616-828-8225. How about King's Room Barbershop? 3 locations in West Michigan. Northland Drive. They got one in Caledonia, and they've got one at 821 36th Street in Wyoming. Full schedule, exact locations at their website, kingsroom.net. Haircut will set you back $21 at King's Room Barbershop. Finally, the authority on health care for the Affordable Care Act is Frank Fuss from My Policy Shop. If you have your insurance through the Affordable Care Act, you probably have questions, and Frank's going to answer them for you. And all you need to do is go to appointmentwithfrank.com and book an appointment with either Frank or Isaac today. Appointmentwithfrank.com for more information. I need an asshole of the day before I wrap this show up. Murder lover Linda says Carolyn Levitt. Tyler says asshole of the day, Miss Jamaica. A lot of people are attacking the White House spokesperson. I don't know if I can get behind that. Again, I am very bipartisan when it comes to things. And it's not something that I would like, but many Americans love Carolyn Levitt for how she took Trump referring to a reporter as Piggy and saying quiet while he stuck his finger in her face, how she flipped that and made it seem like it was the reporter's fault. But I still have to make an asshole of the day. I mean, I'm still on the hook for that. And I know that Carolyn Levitt did a great job because I'm now convinced that it's the reporter's fault. So the Piggy reporter is the asshole of the day. Can you believe she did that? Asked a question of Trump? Ryan writes, fuck yes. That is my time. Thank you for being here on the free podcast. Join me on Patreon at patreon.com/Eric Zane. Until next time, folks, have a good one. Bye-bye.